him that strength. So after that, we met Papa again here in Worcester. Then he mentioned to me that he's coming to the United States to put your folks together. I said, okay, we're grateful. So other platforms are hosting. Last week it was in Chicago. That was another drive from Maryland to all the way in Chicago. Now it's our turn here, and after here there are a couple more, platforms. I know Maryland and Virginia also are preparing so hard to be with Papa. So I know we are happy. I'm not going to make mine talk a long one. I just want to welcome Papa officially to Shrewsbury to platform number 51. And I would like to take the opportunity to also do this introduction before I hand over the microphone to our father. We do have global representation here this morning or this afternoon. Mr. Gasofori is sitting on my left. Mr. Gasofori is a member of Council of Elders. The top global level, they advise, they give directions. They are in charge of the disciplinary issues too as well within the transformation. It's a total setup of a corporate body on its own. So we have different areas that people see. So Mr. Gasofori is one of our leaders who support that. Let's give him a very big round of applause. Mr. Gasofori has been a pillar, and a leader to us. He gives directions, he advises, and is very supportive. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Osai Frimpong is he's a top notch. He's right there. He's a member of the global team, the Council of Advisors. He leads the Council of Advisors, the whole transformation, the total body. Mr. Osai Frimpong, Mr. Frimpong, thank you so much. We appreciate you and thank you for all that you do. Like I said, they give the directive. I report to he and then other folks here in the United States, just like any other agency would do. I know my able vice chair has been already introduced. Then we have our dear mama here. I know most of you know the name, Auntie Annie. Auntie Annie is the chairperson for platform number 14. She is my mother, platform number 14, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you and Mr. Frimpong for all that you do for us. You go above and beyond to support this organization, and we appreciate and thank you for that. Thank you. So, Papa, on behalf of my executives and my able and dear global representation here, I introduce to you platform number 51, our meeting with you in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. Thank you so much.
Krishna Kristaya Bhotare Shri Mate Kavi Chandra Swami Tinamini Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Kristaya Bhotare Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Guravani Pricharini Naravasisa Sunyavadi Pasatya Visatarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Guru Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Transformations.
Transform ourselves, transform you.
So, a Madam Master said, you are my advice, I don't do that. So, a Madam Master said, when you're watching, so the chairman kind, but I know I had twin temple of Maryland. It would do almost 1 a.m. And I came with my boy, and it's not so easy. It's not yet. You have to the steps, so I didn't come along here. So, your son called Chicago last week. We drove almost 11 hours there, so I had kind of tiring. Pastor, I have to wake up early around 3 to do my prayers and all that. Yeah, check out and check. Fine. I'm very grateful, sir. I'm very happy. Seeing all these wonderful faces. I know so many of you. Yes, it's Muslim, I'm Muslim, I'm from a nature. Because I know. So many of you have been calling, and it's very difficult reaching out. In fact, and your payenta mean to me, and yes, I'm always happy, like receiving calls and talking to our members. It makes me happy actually. But unfortunately, I'm still a human, and I can't do more than what humans do. See, at times you can only attend to one thing at a time. So just imagine it's about 500 people calling one day. It's not very easy. There's so many messages. I have things that I have to do in my temple. I have family things that I need to attend to. It is not very, very easy. But me, I said, I don't think it's normal. No. And you're very good, and you're very okay. Because I know how it is. All serious stress will be a one day when you say anybody to me and wow. Just you want to voice keke. And the voice alone is able to help you. Now I know how it is. It's very painful. But so we are humans, like I said, I'm so fallible. So give me beer and beat at the same time. But I don't know if she say we are pleased to Yakopon, Amaya Modena, yet me a bishia. Dear Viana, baby a German officer of family didn't come be a winner. To them here. So make good use of the situation. Because I know very easy. To primary business. You can swap me actually, I've still not been able to go there. None of the answer you can say. It is something I've been doing for some time, and good. So maybe a bit to me, that is. You have to train yourself to a point, say, before you make any move, you will see the destination in your mind before you make the move. It is a very mystical thing. So maybe a bit to me, meaning, say, oh, so to go by your destination, a day before that will be to cry. You must see yourself there and say what to say no more. So what the more practice at that point. Now for so baby now. What tries to go show say you want to see yourself there as a nature is telling you don't make that move. So I've not been able to go to the UK because of this situation. So hopefully I don't need to but I think US there I hide to be feared and I'm very grateful to be here. So, when you say move your questions before I air one-on-one, which I know so many of you are actually paying attention. Say a little or not be a say be a person. If so now move me that no what I do is that when you come to me for the first time, I am impressed one why you came to see me. I want to prove to you that I know why you came to see me. And then going forward, say be a question B and maybe a be a person only be command, then we can talk about it. So if today is the first time when you share one-on-one, this is what I do. When you sit down, my person will buy myself in room, and I will tell you some few things about you. I tell you, I say, why? Do you know me before? No, it's a science. And not maybe about us, it's not heading to the mystical world. There are many things that we can see with these our two eyes, but for instance, you want him to be to home from her. No, you don't know from her, but you home from her. But science to me, I am detecting the velocity of the wind, the way it blew in the speed in order. So answer now, you will normally was soon. You will want two things be aware. You have access to those information. And we are very pleased and privileged that we have these kind of abilities. So that this is what we use to assist those that comes to us. Anything, the opportunity will be there. So we'll be an person or let me share one-on-one discussion. And I'm happy to say that the number ends so much. So that will be enough time. Many a time here, one-on-one, will be one I feel very bad. But the fact is, I didn't go up on 100. So that's one person 25 minutes. I mean, you have got a chance 24 hours to get really putting in enemy. But at least I can count maybe 100, maybe some few, maybe 105 or something. And then see, it means maybe I have money in lifetime. So please don't be troubled. Come up and say, yeah, you been to me, I can pray. Nah, get it. And then one other important thing, the person became a seven and said, maybe another thing is also didn't come with me. I said, yes. But you may know you're very stressful. And it's so stressful, say, so but to be feeling me, I don't know. phone is in the premier all the time because all the time there's a message you have to respond to. Call me back, messages be back. So all the time we need time for myself. And according to this one, every day by 3 a.m. I should be up. I have to take a shower. I have some series of prayers I have to do. So maybe I will be and I have to do these things. Very tiring. And much so I have many businesses I need to pay attention. That means supervisor from wherever I am. But when you know, I have never been under stress before. So maybe you're not meaning to say, hey, come on, sir. Don't allow your external influences affect your inner peace. If you are able to control your inner self, your external self cannot control you. And until me that's 85 minutes, I will sleep. Not ask me. Then I mean, because I say, obviously, Miami doing that. You told me that. No. 5 minutes, I am gone. Now, that's what made that very deep. Until me that 2 hours, that will be okay for me to move on. The reason being said, I believe in the laws of nature. There are many laws, but one of it is said, you can do your part, but the result does not depend on you. This is a law. If you're able to implement this in your life, trust me, you'll be a happy person. Yeah? Say, you maintain a many pennies. Because I have been in the village before. I'm a village boy. Meaning the real brother for a bit. Early in the morning, I will watch and say, Ube Garu was here. Now I pay powder be a boss free or more coat and Jumano. Or best of all, a swallow. The idea that she bears a sex and no mammy, I got to go and for a former back. Or go to back. Or back. Oh, Papa, or phone go good in Moko Swaba. Or you be the Panacha, I guess 8, 9, or better for phone bill. Or better fear the religion and swear to better 5 p.m. No, we're going to the cinema and the piano money and you didn't feel. The kind of stress need a human being on here. But go and ask them the whole year, 1,000 Ghana cedis will be to me any job. What I'm saying is that when human being is important, it's good, but the results will not be depend on the endeavor or the effort alone. Nature will kind of us one or responding to our efforts. So now, what he has said, when Juma obey, this is what you want to do. Why are you? The result is not determined by you. And anything that will be over, every year when Juma will you but every promotion so now man will be on what was your money or money to promote you. Every dollar. Every people what is about your woman. Who bought whom are being treated who sell your baby. But at the end of the day, no get treatment that I don't know now you will be a 1 year. I will say, why me? Obi will obey the whole year. Only any fit and then be your judgment all the time. But after so much of account to my dear demon, or say, now maybe it's kind of here. What I'm here to tell you is learn this principle in life. You can do your best, put in all the effort, all the endeavor, but the result is not determined by you. Nature determines that. I say, Obani Bear, my share won't permanent Obana fire food. Not the man is in the Oba. You cannot change that. Your duty is to make sure your wife is pregnant, but it is not up to you to determine so by no bear man or. See the way nature operates. Say try say you're aligning your thinking and the way we do things with nature. We will be at peace all the time. Anytime we will have or maybe more beer. Said the person can cry, they are not doing that. Right? So you did all that you could, but the skin of go wayward, what can be a fat, especially one more high, won't even tell one book. To be some say, never did. But we won't pay it, so we beg to some of the man say, see, I'm telling you, that's okay. But the result will not be determined by you. And in the way you give it to me, we're putting all the effort on. Please go and sleep. Nature will decide. So we are less than out to Fakuma, and no one will do that. Oh, after all, nature is going to decide it. No, you must put in some effort. And after the effort, nature may decide. They say, well, effort to be A, B, C, D, and that's also. This is the way nature operates. Because I know people, they will struggle and mass so much. But at the end of the day, when they are made up a body team, I at the end of the now, wait to be up by now. See, what I'm trying to say here is life is very simple. Don't complicate it. Now when the baby or one so much stress getting up the way top of the mountain. So let me just like I said, the way area hot here, no say snow crowd tire. Now what area may have so bit to get this idea before. Means there is no maybe tell them. That may be done but he always experienced and say, the way I want here no says snow top and say TV, you know, so will be sent there will be problems. Now, when you want life, I have got to crack to me too because they be a baby. I would say when you want to know, what you grab a talk and walk over baby, I will cleaning all that. But what's the fake cracker or canna? Ah, what I said, the money on contact for the person in Kuma or Mujo money. Tell you, or what team? Ah, or Mujo money at 9 or Moko almost sent him. But I'm going to enjoy all the big television, everything big, you won't buy more. But when I want to have, who break 24/7, you don't want to give yourself any break to enjoy your toil. Please, what I'm saying is that, and yet you might think, and then they don't want to oh my God, it would be above. Because we have ways and means to maneuver things that. Kakana be to me, and the people that ain't enough for you to be at peace. Because mystically, you know, there are ways and means that what to tell no man. I don't say that you are by your shortcut for you feel your baby. Mr. Sadie address the share map on the map and a man of 3 different routes. It be 8 hours, it be 9 or 11 hours. It is up to you to decide. Say GPS in the way we are. Can't wait and go in 11 hours. But now say when you access to the GPS, among 8 hours. Anything in life, at times, you need somebody who can give you the shorter route. And that's where transformation comes in. And in the day we'll be able to assist. If you are making a route to anything, now, with the shorter route. Yeah, we don't encourage laziness. We encourage people to be hardworking, to be forceful. But so we bring who are going to the result of your hard work in the end and it's say your bums are not to be assisting. So what I'm trying to say here is say my child but men who too much expecting say must bring ABC because minimum beer or pressing but that ABC that why into win the one trans that one trans here I mean now I guess okay, Miami Park. So let me leave the rest to nature. Now you want to keep on pushing and pushing. You know what will happen? You will fall down, then other people will sweat, you know. They will come and benefit from that toilet. They do what they do. Yes, you better say you do what they do. And I've got to know just many years now. My God, I'm put that. And I have a different nearby because you're penny. They will tell you, especially, I was in a 40 grand. I had me more than I think I was for the person. I said, medicine. So, who I didn't maybe organic be 1 to 2 no more. When you're about 1 pa, you beg Jeff, you want some no matter, and yes, one will. But I'm saying is that Don't allow your external influences affect your inner peace. You can only think this way if you understand that you can put in your effort, but the result will not be determined by you. It will be determined by nature. So how will you manipulate nature to always decide in your favor? That is another trick also. And that is always make sure say you do it so that nature will become indebted to you. See, these are secrets in life. So men obi ba me ho na the problem me ba me na a very serious problem. Now if you said this, I don't have the power to change anything. I say something. If I've ever done anything to please you, please attend to this person's situation for me. And about 99% of this time, Nipaliti. Why? Because if you said, in my own little ways, you know, my nature is indebted to me. I decided you will be at what up school, or whatever be in it. Now, you better come problem about the okay, I'm going to go. The most situation in the person will be the man. Just the way by phone, one, I won't give you whatever. Just the way by focus here when you're called, and I won't see anybody else walking. Because you are actually indebted to this person. Only the power goes to a little bit. It's in the person appointment, not with me. Or Kyle said, "Power in it." So with me, so it's only be an idea. So always try as much as possible to put nature in a corner. Say the it will be easier for you to ask nature, say, all the things I do, please, I want you to send in for me. So what do we do? How do we gain this kind of opportunity? That is serving people without expecting any returns. Respecting people without expecting any respect in return. Sacrificing your own convenience for the convenience of others. If you do this, I am telling you, automatically nature will be indebted to you. And anytime you need the assistance of nature, nature has no choice but to come in and support you. So here is the idea. Now, nature will always be ready to serve you. And trust me, you will enjoy the dividends of your toil or of your sweat. Thank you very much. So this is the next question I want to say. I know that we're all questions about the answer. Thank you very much.
I'm sure Ubi or question Louis assist.
Thank you, Daddy. Any questions and answers? Please raise your hand. Okay. So.
Good afternoon. There were two questions. First one, what can be about cause and effect? You all can say cause and effect. The question is said, what do you do to eradicate negative effect? And what are the causes or good causes you need to do to change your situation?
What are the
good causes? Causes are.
What's the first question? What do you do to eradicate
negative effect? So, bra, no man, no, there was a young change. And now I said, no man, ye mama, then there was a way. Second question. most of the time we are forecasting on out there. Says are very common. You pay more of your software in the way say. Yes, in our forecast now. Why encounter be sir? Now, so when how do you address it? So we will forecasting out here. How do you address the situation? You call the person personally, or what do you do? Because says yeah, we will do the near the back and usually come. It is better also what approach.
Transformation. That is much of more. I'm saying step ahead, I'm so overcome. The tier with teachings in the war, Chicago said, we'll see how bad or better can get to know myself.
About karma, and see the question is saying the cause and effect of our actions. No, doesn't mean say we have to always experience it before we get the positivity. And now say we can always pray to address that cause and effect. Thank you.
Yeah. So taking people. So. Thank you. Okay, so in fact, this gathering, I think the level of the maturity when it comes to this kind of thing, is amazing. Because all these 4 questions, they are very, very, very deep questions. So first thing is that Kwame and other faculty in eradicating some of the negative things in your life, like cause and effect. Because Adebia or Babia, there must be result or reactions. And in terms of the negative things in your life, how do you eradicate that? I think there are many, it's almost like the last question I Mrs. Beside. In fact, the way our nature first was and see, we should all come home, sit down, and understand. Because many of us, the way I get tears and myself, and Shadam before I mention at the way I said, I'm going to say, can be said, we are born and our bonfire and go upon their child. I mean, as Christians, that's what we believe in. Say, your body, I know, say, who know whom now saying a body, or bonnet, and many of us, we take advantage of this kind of the mercy of God to mess up. Because my country say, forgive. That's what we say. God will forgive our trespasses. And in fact, so I forgive, no. A very, very detailed subject. Because the way our nature operating, there must be some corresponding results. And you can't say, and you're only evil things in one. Or Papa be away, and the Papa be an away, there will be some results. So you never kind of cry. At times, even though we go through some difficult situations, but at times, yet to me encounter some good things be as open to the crowd, don't say, I do wait. Wouldn't need effort to be an will put you in and all these good things about. It happens. As I bet people probably might want to say that's the end. But Hannah from nowhere now help will be about. You can make a may be an hour where some opportunity be by something very wonderful has happened to you. I mean, the American said, all the good things we do, the results will come to us. So I'm saying all the bad things we do, the result will come to us. This is see, and we identify, say, And no people are like how do you eradicate it? Coming to your question. There are few opportunities that we have to eradicate the negative situations in our life. You will few, you can say very few. You are be another Roman for a your friend of Monica. You know, when you call weekend, or sorry, them one. Now, also for no, a shepherd will be no in one thing. Presume say, oh, who went in now, so who went in. Now, I say, be a dog, come as well, can you in fact, a very good thing. Because I be an over careful wakumum. Say a money put away, it means say, son of a bonnet, won't be. But ye never carry one, not a routine. So you go and tell a priest, you know, or 1 hour within the week. By then, the way not a cow, you don't even feel any remorse going back to do the same old things again. And it's one can yes. A boy, I say, we ABC again. Name me do baby, none among papa says a wood. Now, once a while, I said, what you know, sees the review anymore. I saw a bar, said in predator. For what could maybe a true mistake, maybe I make a man want to find or new chain, every crab, maybe on the yard and 4 hours, and didn't come up. Who is a woman, every one day do about what you move to be a true man, and mistakenly, every baby bow with anybody. That's the first time messing up. Ukofia, who bet you the whole 24 hours. And perhaps was they didn't know years. Why did I do this in the first place? Why may I soon? I can come up and also say, why should I do this? Because I think it's so wrong. Because that's your first time. But when one is for the second time, it's for the 10th time. Now going forward, you will be making the arrangement for it. So the man can call you, know you say your husband is in the house. Now you can tell him, say, Pacho, please, I'll be going to the office, so meet me at the office. Because you know the person understands the code that you are giving. And now you go and meet the person in the hotel. See, the first time you committed this atrocity, you felt so much remorse because that was your first time. But the more situation, now I'm a part of you. Now it is very difficult for you to even stop this, bad thing that you've been doing. So I'm saying, what to do to eradicate the negativity in your life? We have only few options. It is not going to talk to the pastor, the priest, of all the bad things you've done. There is something we call atonement. If you don't perform atonement, your sins cannot be forgiven. I'm telling you this. If you don't perform an atonement, your sins can never be forgiven. What do I mean? You've stolen this food from me. And, it is very painful losing a gadget like that. Then I will feel say, okay, my name must have been found by the mobile phone. But you are still keeping my phone with you. Then you go to your pastor or whatever it is that, may the Lord forgive me, I stole this phone and in fact, I won't do that again. You're still keeping my phone. Who is going to forgive you? God? No. And even if you just bring my phone to me in secrecy, God will not forgive you the sin. There is something we call atonement. You must embarrass yourself. Let people understand that you stole a phone and you are a thief. In that situation, you have performed an atonement so that God will forgive you for the sin that you committed. You cannot rob people, fraud people, collect so much money. Then now when you have so many mansions, so many properties, you go to the church and dear Lord, forgive me. I committed so much, I will never do that again. And you are still enjoying the fruit of that, fraudulent activities. God will not forgive you. You must do something that will push you through some inconvenience, like giving those properties to charity. Yes. Have you forgotten about Zacchaeus in the Bible? When he finally met the Christ, because he had cheated people in many ways, he went out there and distributed all the earnings of those fraudulent deeds to people that so you cannot receive any forgiveness from nature if you don't perform tapasia, or we call it penance, or an atonement, it's not possible. So whatever situation you find yourself today, if it is good for you, yes, you actually cultivated from your previous life. If it is bad for you, you cultivated from your past life. Some people come to me and say, Jenna, why is it that only me? I'm having so much difficulties. In my house, everywhere there are witches. I can't make any progress. In our house, nobody can become a big man. I'm the only person who has been able to travel. And since I travel, everything seems to be bad. So why me? So the fact of the matter is, why only you? Same to such a family. Who is making all these arrangements? That I should have this face, this side, and you have the face you have. Who is making those arrangements? I'm sure very will say that it's God. And we know very well God is not partial. So why is he giving some people very beautiful and handsome faces, and some people's faces you can't even look at twice? And you all started school the same day. Some colleagues of yours are so intelligent. They are so good at if you want the teacher not even taught in class, they will be able to explain things, and you look at them and say, how can this guy be that intelligent? You are in the same class. So who is making this arrangement that some of your colleagues become so intelligent? And for you, who can order? So who is making this arrangement? I know you will tell me it's God. And God is not partial. So what are the yardstick? I mean, what is pushing God to be doing this kind of biases? If you begin to ask these questions, you will understand that whatever situation you find yourself was not caused by anybody but yourself. Yeah, it's very difficult accepting fault. That's why you made a mistake in your workplace. Your boss asked you, why did you do this? Instead of you saying, oh, I'm very sorry, I should have done it, you want to explain yourself. A boss, when I was coming, I missed my train. When I was coming, there was an issue. Everybody want to find an excuse why they committed a mistake. So now you say, okay, because we feel by your whole thing. See, what I'm saying is that whatever situation we all find ourselves, we caused it. See, this is the truth. We all caused it. If it's good, you caused it. If it is bad, you caused it. So now, how do I eradicate the negative ones? The only thing you can do is an atonement. Atonement is you have to inconvenience yourself in a way. And that inconvenience to be able to eradicate, not even all, but part or minimize the impact of those negative situations in your life. I have taught you many things about Ekadesi. Ekadesi is the fasting we do on every 2 weeks. We call Ekadesi means, Eka is one, Dasi means that the winning. So, for instance, the 11th day of the waning moon and the waxing day of the waning moon, the 11th day, is a very special period mystically. It is very, very powerful because universal energies at that point are very positive. So anybody who is able to perform some tapasia, some penance, like fasting and those things, it is considered to be a very strong way of atoning for some of the negative things you committed in your life. That's actually resulting in the negative situations that you want to eradicate. So first thing is Ekadesi. It's one of the best options we all have. If you perform Ekadesi from time to time, there are some Ekadesis, even 7 lifetimes, the sins you committed can be eradicated. Yes. Ekadesi is a very, very powerful way. I know many people have come to me and they've been trying so many years to have babies. They've gone to all the wonderful, wonderful doctors and nothing seems to be working. I tell them, go and do Putrada Ekadesi. Just fast within the day. And after some few months, they've taken seed. You know, Ekadesi is a very powerful one. So one of the options is to perform tapasia in the form of Ekadesi. And also, sacrificing yourself for the convenience of other people. When you do this, like I said before, nature becomes indebted to you so that some of these problems can be eradicated. If you keep on being selfish, being greedy, always thinking about your own self, you don't care about anybody all the time. Me, all the time, me. You know, you will never be able to minimize or eradicate the negative situations. You have to go through it yourself and suffer for it. So if you want to eradicate the negative situations in your life, tapasya, penance, austerity, and the best of it all is performing ekedesi. Ekedesi, because the days are very auspicious, and the vibrational energy of the universal world is at its peak. So anybody who performs some austerity or some penance, the result is very massive. So ekedesi, I recommend, is the best. So now the question here is, if I find out somebody is going to die in the forecast, what do I do? It's a very good question. Some of this is very difficult to explain, but I would like to come break it down. So when I am doing the forecasting, what I do is, if you give me your real date of birth, trust me, the information I gave you is 98% accurate. That whatever you see there will happen. Some of you will testify. If I give you that, come and give some testimony about the forecast. I know many of you will stand up right now. Some of you have never met you before. This is your first time seeing me one-on-one. So how was I able to predict exactly what is going to happen? Because when I take your date of birth, there is a chart. We have 12 houses, and each of the houses represents some things. And the day you took your birth, I will be able to calculate to tell you, within this month to that month, this will happen. And it is going to happen exactly as I stated. Because it's a mystical science. So many a times when I see death, I have technical ways to code it. So that, don't forget I'm not God. Some of these informations, it will be there in the chart. But God can decide to change anything in your life. That's up to God. So I can't be 100% sure. So that's why I say 98%. Even though I know the information I'm giving you is going to happen, I say 98%. The remaining 2% is up to God. God can decide what He wants to do. So if I see that maybe you're going to pass away, there's a man at the end. There's a man who passed away. Yes. And quickly I send his forecast to you. Huh? It's one of our members who passed away in one of the groups. So I said, can you give me the person's number? She's going to send me the number, and I went there. I sent the person the forecast within that time that this man is going to go through a very terrible health situation. And I have to code it in a way not to discourage you to do something for yourself. If you tell somebody you're going to die tomorrow, in fact, you are taking away the person's free will to think. So I'll say, okay, within this period, you might have a very serious health issues. And then after about 3-4 paragraphs, I will say within this period, there might be a religious gathering in your home. That might be the cause of a demise of somebody close to you. So when I put it this way, I expect that you pay attention and do something about it. So many a time when I say this, it looks like somebody close to you or maybe you yourself. But when I say the situation is going to be pathological, so I have a way of putting it. But unfortunately, our pastors, some of them have this gift, but they lack the wisdom to interpret the gift. Because if you tell me you will going to die in February, I mean, what do you want me to do? It means that there's no hope for me. Okay? So I expect them to be more intelligent, to relate, because see, God can decide, okay, this person is going to die in August, but I've changed that. He's not going to die. So who are you? You are not God. So you have to find ways and means of putting it so it doesn't change. My own boy, Ferry, the mother's death was predicted in the forecast. And I told him, so I started giving the mother medications. I told him that this period you should be careful. I'm seeing a very big funeral in the home. So please, you have to do this, do that. So I personally went to the mother and I gave her medication. I went to go and see her. I gave her some medication. And then after some time, I came to the US. I was here when the mother passed away. So the forecast, please, I expect you to pay attention. Please. Because when I see death, I might not sit there. I'll find ways and means to tell you that something can be done about it because I am not God. I'm just giving you indication that I'm seeing A, B, C, D, which may even include death, but you can do something because God is the supreme. But I will never tell anybody that you are going to die. I will never say that in anybody's forecast. That you are going to die within this period. No, why? You don't take people favor from them because you have been given some little power. No, you don't do that. You should be in the position to encourage people. So even when you see people are sinking, encourage them. And that will give them the strength to come out. But when you see people sinking, so where you with the one side, or where you are, that's your end. For you, you are finished. I mean, if you do that, you are killing the free will of people. And when people lose their free will, trust me, that's their end. So I will never tell anybody you're going to die, even when I'm very much aware. I'll find ways to say that if you are very, very observant, you go through it and then you do something for yourself. Okay, thank you. So the third one is about the crypto, because this year I've been speaking about the cryptocurrency. You know, yes. Personally, like I said, somebody encouraged me. I started, and I thought it was good. So this very year, I wanted to go into it. So when I was doing the charts, I specifically did charts for the cryptocurrency, the business world, how things going to pan out. And trust me, this year, because it's ruled by Venus and it's number 6, finances is going to be something else. There will be good situations. People can make money. But if people will be able to use the money judiciously, it's the problem. But there's going to be money because Venus talk about finance, talk about cryptocurrency. It talks about all the kind of banking and insurance and stuff. So I decided to do a whole chat about the cryptocurrency. So like I said, there are some few coins that I've seen that this year they will do very well. And because normally I don't want to be giving this on Facebook, so maybe today if the executive will permit me, I'll give you at least 4 coins that I know very much they're going to do well. In fact, this year I have many coins, but our members will be giving us 15 different coins. The 15 because it gives the number 6 and this year's number 6. That I will tell you all those coins will do very well. So those of you who are doing cryptocurrency already, we will give that. But there's one thing you need to understand, that cryptocurrency is a very volatile market. I mean, it can go up, it can go down, people can lose money and all that. But if you have somebody to guide you to maneuver properly, it'll help you. I mean, when I joined with little money, and I didn't join because I think I can make money from it. I do a lot of charity. So I decided, okay, let me put in some money here. Whatever dividend comes here, I'll use that to serve people. And I'm very smart with this because I know when this is going to go up, I'll buy some coins. I know it's going to go down after 2 weeks, I'll take all my money. That's what I do. So that's what I do. And trust me, I have made so much to support people's school fees and all that. So those coins, like I'm saying, I'm going to give that. So members who are interested, who are actually already doing the cryptocurrency investment, you can try those coins. Because there are so many coins there, many uncountable coins there. So you don't even know which one is going to do well. Right. But if you find somebody who will be able to tell you this coin, that coin is going to do well, I mean, it's a blessing, so you go ahead and do it. So for our transformation members, it's a promise I gave that this year. But don't forget, I told you, the coin is going to start behaving properly from the 14th of April, according to the constellation. So yesterday, first, is when personally I bought $500 of each of the coins. Yesterday I told you. I did that yesterday first. I didn't want to do it today because today is a dark moon, so I did it the day before yesterday. On dark moon, it's not very good to make investment. Okay? So I did it on the 30th, I bought all those coins. And just after yesterday, I saw that, let me show you. I want to show you what I say here. Those coins that I bought 500 each. So I want to prove to you that I always tell the truth. Because I know integrity is very important to me. So those that want to do it, maybe, so you see, I won't mention this coin. You see this one? I bought 500. What is here? You can see?
Yes, something about
No. Let me see. It was right?
965.
965, right? I bought it 3 days ago. I bought 500. this one is what? Don't mention the coin name. This one is what?
I
bought 500. It's what now?
876.50.
Okay. This one I bought 500 is what?
It's $756.810.
I'm smart. So I know when it is going to mess up, and I'll take all that out. So I'll give you all those coins so that those who are actually already doing the cryptocurrency, you can do it. And if you are not doing crypto, trust me, it is a very easy way of making money. It doesn't mean become lazy and stop with your job. You can do your work, but if you have some money that you go and put in Ghana, somebody go and squander it for you. You can invest it. You have your own app in your hand. You can control it, especially with somebody guiding you what to do. If you have some $1,000, you don't know what to do with it, just go and invest it. I know people who saved about $1,000 in 2021 January. But when they go to October, they made $5 million on Shiba. I don't know, those of you who are doing crypto, you know this is true, right? They saved they invested $1,000 in January. October, they made $5 million. It's a serious thing. So if all of you are doing very well and making money, you can also help us to help the needy. So it is my prayer that everybody will be able to do this kind of investment and make some money, help yourself, help your family. And the needy that we want to support, you can support us to support them. So I will give those coins that I feel it's going to do well in 2022. But like I said, the crypto market is very volatile. So don't say, oh, it's Ghana who said I should go and do it. I wanted to make money, but I wanted to understand that crypto is a volatile market, anything can happen. But trust me, I know these coins are going to do very well. The last question is, the last question here is karma. How to change your karma? In fact, changing your karma is not very easy. So what person was to say what karma and this yes, when you release an arrow from the bow, is it very easy to retrieve the already released arrow? No. Assembly, I wonder what can be our. It is not very easy to retract those words. This is karma. So karma means the cause and effect. So all the things you're doing, there are corresponding reactions to it. It is only God who can change our karma. It is not very easy. Some of us, the situation we find ourselves is based on our previous karma. And before we remember many, more problems and nobody fear wouldn't be there. That's all. You do all that you've been trained to do. I have studied many mystical things. Now I look at my age and I said, how was it possible for you to learn many things within a short time? No, I'm not boasting. I have studied many things. But there are people that will come to you, you do all that you know, and they are probably saying. So you ask yourself why? It is your character. And a very strong one. Yes. A very strong karma. It is only God who can break your karma. So my master advised me that if you want God to help you break your karma, you do something to please God. So when God is pleased with you, He will assist you to be able to eradicate or minimize the intensity of your negative situations. So find ways and means to please God. If you're able to please God in any way, then your karma can be minimized. In fact, there are some things that you can't do anything about as your karma. And some things you can try to somehow change it with your free will. For instance, Okama say, you can't do anything about it. None of us in this room chose our parents. Right? Is there anybody in this room who chose the mother and the father that will be giving birth to him or her. So that's a karma you don't have any control over. You had no control over it. But the man or the woman you get married to, even though it's in your karma, but you have control over it. Alright? School or come. You see everybody that's over school be. And it's up to you to decide to go or not to go. So there's some karma that's a little bit flexible. With our free will, we'll be able to manipulate some things. But some you don't have any power. You just have to just flow with it. I was watching some movie. You know, I like watching this mystical movies. I don't know whether you know this movie. The name is Merlin. Merlin, man. I've watched it more than 20 times. You know why? Because some of the mystical terms they use are real. Because I know them. Some of these invocations they do there, they are real invocations. So I like watching them. So the Merlin boy saw that a girl called Morgana was going to kill a king. Okay? So he saw that. I mean, he had a powerful seer. He could see the future. So when he saw it, he said, no, he is not going to allow that. So he did something to change that. He didn't know that actually what he did was the one that was going to facilitate the woman killing the king. Look at what I'm trying to say. You saw that, okay, the woman on her birthday, the king's son is going to give her a very powerful knife, a dagger. And she will go and use the dagger to go and kill the king when the king is sleeping. So, exactly on the day the lady was having a birthday, the king's son gave this woman a dagger as a gift. So it means that all the things he saw is coming to pass. So he later saw that the woman late in the night took the dagger and was heading towards the king's, his palace where the king sleeps. So he did some of his magical thing, the woman fell and she collapsed. So when she collapsed, it became a very serious thing. They didn't know that this Morgana is the daughter of the king. It was something that was, like a secret nobody knew. It's only one guy who knew this. But finally, when the girl was in coma, something happened, and that was actually what was going to facilitate for the girl to kill the king. So why I'm bringing this story in is that at times, what you think that you want to do to swerve your karma is actually the facilitator of you going to feed the karma. It's a serious thing. See, you cannot cheat nature. Nature is so smart. See, never ever think that you are intelligent than nature. No. So many of us, maybe you are working for somebody, the person is paying you so well. The person is not monitoring you very much, so you can decide to relax and do other things you're not supposed to do because the person is not there. And you are still taking the money that you're not supposed to receive. And you think you're very smart. Nature is going to make an arrangement, all the money will come to your hand, and then the next minute somebody is terrible in a serious condition, and the whole money will go to that situation. See, the way nature works is so mysterious. So changing your karma is not very easy. At times, what you think that you want to do to change your karma is actually what is going to allow the karma to manifest. Yes, it is very, very sad. For instance, maybe you have a wife and you think, okay, somebody told me this, maybe, so I want to swerve it. So you get married to a woman, probably you're not supposed to marry, and you think you're very smart, and this person is going to be the cause of the problem. Or you got to marry to a man, you think that this man is always going to help me to become successful, to swerve my karma, but the person is going to be the facilitator for you to receive all the benefit of your karma. So we have to be very careful. Changing karma is not very easy. It is only the Almighty One who can change karma. And how do we get the benefit of God helping us is when we try as much as possible to please God in whatever we do. So when God is pleased with us, He's able to help us to change our karma. Thank you very much.
So, Madam Secretary, we'll take one last set of questions and then.
Thank you. Any more questions? This is your chance. 3 more questions.
Daddy, I have a question. Only one, and then I think we are done. So be any baby on me.
Okay. We have to get this out. Can you say me?
Daddy, me pacho, reincarnation.
Okay.
What did you hear a lot about that? Now, my question is, reincarnation will be what ye bomb pie and I say, yen and anon, ye bomb pie in son. The good form friend, yen and anon. And at the same time, so may I see reincarnation. Who na was I'm back, babe. Into no, not ye wound son. Yen and anon, normal reincarnated. Why ye wound son? I'm out. That's your question.
Transformation. Your daddy, the question. I will focus and say many accidents. After that, many liver problem. Now we know and to me, also I feel okay. When accident 2 weeks, when a liver problem occur, you have to have liver transplant or Boston. I go find out now we know a coincidence and I say, I may not care also. That's it.
My question there about pendants. Yeah, no, usually also any point say the poor dead body. And to know all poor baby, that's a beer, baby, I walk on. There's a dead body. Then I will be it was we two baby and son walk up and I said, and I sometimes over my PA, so what about that? And then I'll be to me. Okay. And where you so is in my forecast. Forecast meets me also made a actually. But the funny thing is, I make a mobile phone, or Walmart, me call shopping in the toy. Me buy phone and me try to me activate, and I activate it. And me call it on online shop. Just a day after, I find it's Tuesday, me got on a Tuesday, me returning on Thursday. Because I almost my return phone online already. And I cannot return it in store. And honestly, I was like, I only called to activate and it wasn't activating. So I'm just returning it because I need an unlocked phone. But the scene and the way I saw it and I felt so in it's only a phone, just let it go. Because it could have just brought in so much which it wasn't necessary. Thank you for what you do for us.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All your questions are very, very deep. So I would like to reserve Ari's question. I'll speak about it, then we end this discussion. So forecast happening, even though it was in your forecast, and now the same thing is just happening to your son. Yes, there are situations where people intercede for us. It is not a rule. It is not a rule, but at times it happens that you're supposed to go through some situation and then somebody will be able to take that. So maybe at your age, so when I will go through that situation, maybe I can't survive. So maybe nature can take that to somebody who can go through it and still be okay. So it happens. Now there are many people, many who may be a stroke. There's a movement when you have stroke, the last of a buy. Virginia, right? So we went there and I saw the woman's situation was very terrible. So I have this gift of taking sickness from people. So they were there. I mean, they saw it. I almost died. Ask them. So the woman was there, and I could see her situation is very, very delicate. And so normally when you have this body balance, when you're stroke, now lifting back may be very, very difficult. So I said, this thing is not going now. But in my mind, I was asking, is there anything? So I gave her medication, but I said, okay, let me just take the sickness. So I have a way of doing it. I took the sickness, and all of a sudden, my breathing stopped. I couldn't breathe. They were there. I can't breathe anymore. You know, because the sickness was so much on me. I was sweating like anything with the cold weather. I was sweating. He said, please take me to some washroom. Yes, you had somewhere. So I have to drove all the way to some place. So when I went to the washroom quickly, I have to go and release the whole thing into the WC. They were there. They saw it. I mean, it's not something that happened and I'm just telling you. Two of them were there. So there are situations like that. People can help you to take your problem. Maybe you don't even know that your son. Maybe they have a very strong gift that you're not even aware. So yes, it happens. There are some things that are written in your own style. I just say, yes, there are situations like that. Like I said, it is not a rule that all the things you're supposed to go through, somebody's going to take it for you. But at times it happens. So you should thank your boy. Because what I wrote to you will have happened to you, and maybe at your age, you wouldn't have recovered. You get it? So that boy is your savior. You should talk to him and respect him. And then the pendant, you're not going to see a dead body with a pendant. So those of you that have not seen a pendant before, mine is hidden here. There is a mystical amulet that gives you protection against evil forces and negative energy around you. This pendant, and since I introduced it, it's about 5 years now. And those of you that have been using the pendant, and many of you will have something good to say about this pendant. It is good, it's powerful. It is. It is very, very powerful. So, what to do if you have to go and see a dead body? You know, if you have to see a dead body, there are some things that are considered to be impurities or contaminations when it comes to mystical circles. For instance, when you make love to your own wife or your husband, yes, you guys are married, but mystically it's considered to be contamination. So that's why you have to do cleansing after this. So at times you can put some ordinary salt in the water to bath. That is okay. So Obi said, "Na said, oko boy jamaya, eno na nke yefi. Na me ankasa me yere na me kunu de except me fie body bia said." Then I ask you, if you go and steal somebody's food to eat, will you get your hands dirty? Huh? So Obi fufu si hona oko kuwiya na oko dia. Obi we now inside you need to go and wash your hands, right? One kata so no fufu fi. Now you still have to go and wash your hands. So it doesn't matter whether you guys are not married. These are mystical things you might not be able to understand. It's like oko dead body woman. You attract some negative energies around yourself that you need to cleanse. So if you have your pendant on and you go to see a dead body, all that you do when you get to the house, whatever to and chilling soup for about 2-3 minutes, now I cleanse one another too. Because the pendant will never expire or something. My boy, he has used about 7 gold pendants. What the man I don't know. It is something I believe in. That's why homeboy use. It's not that maybe he's talking about it. It's very powerful. I have 2 strong people, very famous people in Ghana, that they were saved because of the pendant. Yes. I'm just showing my card. He just only do bad things. For in spiritual words, he can't do anything good. If you go there, my business is not good, he cannot do it, he cannot help you. The only thing you can do is that could be a punish the person. That's the only thing he does. So when he have good work, he cannot do. So he will come with boss. I have this. Can you help the person? Why this can be Can you help me to? So we became friends. I was also teaching him the good things, but all those bad things he be doing, I know all. See, the truth is, you cannot do any good thing for people if you don't know how to destroy. It's a mystical science. If you cannot destroy something, you cannot maintain it. So before you learn how to help people to do good things, you should be able to know how to destroy. So that when somebody destroys somebody, you'll be able to use the antidote to help the person. The same leaf you use for this to pay is the same leaf you use to reverse it. So if you don't know how to destroy, how do you, maintain or mend something when it's destroyed? So I know all the things I've been doing, but I have taken a vow not to harm people because I believe in the law of karma that whatever you do, the consequences will come to you. No matter how powerful you think you are, at the right time you suffer. That's why all these babalawos in our villages in the night, when they kill people and they destroy people, in their old age, you see what happened to them? Many of them become blind, they become crippled, and they will suffer before they die because of the bad things they've been doing. So this guy, I went to him. So when I went there, I saw a very nice car there, very like somebody who is a rich man. Tempted, I didn't see the person. So the car took off. So he told me, boss, the person that just left. I said no. So he mentioned the person's name. A very big pastor, prophet in Ghana. I said, but what do you come and do? He said, he came to me. At that time, it was a long time ago. How many years now? Many years. That time I used to go to Hot FM. He said, he has an issue with a presenter. And the matter is in the court. So he wants to eliminate this guy so that the matter will die. Now what I'm saying, God knows. If I'm lying, God knows I'm telling the truth. So he charged this guy, that time, 2 billion. That is 200,000 Ghana cedi. And the man paid with Ghana must go cash. So this guy told me, he used all the things that he knows, how to eliminate people. He's unable to kill this man. So I said, who is the person? And this my friend mentioned this radio presenter. He mentioned his name. And I said, when you try, what happens? He said the man is having something around his neck. And when I call him, he doesn't come with the face, he comes with the back. I have tried all the things that I know. The man is not going. And I know the story because this man is my very good friend, but this my spiritual friend doesn't know I know this presenter. And within that period, 3 times this presenter was going, he was walking on the street and he nearly fell down. He had to sit about 30-45 minutes before he'll be able to gather the energy to move again. For about 2-3 months. And there was one thing I gave to this man, he was having pendant on. And it's not now, many years ago, I've forgotten the year, but it's many years ago. So he tried, he couldn't do the job, so he returned the money back to this prophet. So the very day I met this nice guy there, he told me the man came for the money. He called him to come. So he told him, in fact, the guy, there's something, I can't do anything, so please take your money. He returned the whole money back to the prophet. And the guy was using a pendant. This person I'm speaking about now, he's not even in Ghana. I won't mention the country he is because somebody would know. Yes, he was a famous presenter in Ghana. People know him. And a matter came, a very terrible issue. Who were behind it? If not, he wanted to kill him because when he killed this man, the man would be normal. There's another one, that one if I talk about that, people would know, so I'm not going to say it. So there are a lot of, situations that can attest to you that the pendant is very powerful. There's a man that came to me with a wife. I mean, the wife came, they are big guys. They have a very big school in Ghana. So the man said, my husband doesn't believe in anything. I've been telling him to come to you. He said, no, forget about all these prophet people. I said, I'm not prophet. I'm not a pastor, I'm just an ordinary person, but we have studied domestic side. He said the man said he's not coming. They had an accident from this of Angkor barrier, that side. And the woman told me the car somersaulted many times. And she doesn't know what happened, that they were just standing on the pavement. So when they came, and the man said, what just happened? The car is completely mashed. And the woman said, I think I believe it's what the man gave me. I gave the woman a pendant. So I think subsequently he came there with the husband. Now the husband has been to come. Because if you have for the so when they came, and the man came and said, my wife told me all this while I didn't want to believe. But that day what happened? It could only be a miracle. And it is something that saved that. So please can you give me one of that thing? And I gave you. So pendant is powerful. If you have one, keep it properly. It is something I use all the time. You can see, mine is here. You can see. I use it all the time. I use this all the time. My wife uses. My children use. Because yes, I'm still a human. Even though I've been doing things to help you guys, I'm a human being. Anything can happen to my children, my family. So if you have some protection you can give to them so that you'll not be thinking about somebody harming them, it's the best thing. So yes, if you have the pendant on, keep it properly. It's very good. The third one is, yes, there was a court case in your star and the scenario situation. It was actually, it could have been a very serious thing because already you have demanded for it online and you're coming for second one. It could have been a very serious problem. So it is good. The forecast, especially who pay attention. There's another man, I told him, he is going to have a very serious problem with the boss. So he should be very careful. You know what happened? I can't start what I was saying. I won't mention the person's name. So this man, according to him, he drive the company's vehicle. And they were having issues with alignment. So they told him, corner Kokoya alignment. When he went there, according to him, whoever is going to do the job told him that the two tires are not good, so he's supposed to change the tires. So this man said that he used his own card to pay for the tires. Everything was at $400. So now he came back, he went back to the office and then demanded for the money he spent. And the boss told him, I'm not going to pay any money because I did not tell you to go and change tires. So now this man is asking me, Daddy, what should I do? I said, have you forgotten about what is in your forecast? That you'll be having issue with your boss? I said, Daddy, I read it. So if you have read it, why are you coming to ask me the question again? Go ahead and go and fight for the 400 and then you will see the outcome. So the whole thing is that whatever is in the forecast, because it will happen. Especially if your farm will help them because then I bet my life will not be so miserable. So health part, pay attention. And don't forget, say, this time around, I suggested some remedies for the forecast. Try and then do it. That's the best. Now the first question I read beside reincarnation means when people die, they return back. So be all the time. So who are they performing those libations to? Because those souls might have come back again. So who are they paying those? Doing those libations? The truth of the matter is, in the astral realm, there's a place called the ancestral world. So all souls who are so selfless, who are very dedicated to the needs of their family, when they leave here, those souls are sent to the ancestral world to go and fight for the family down here. You get it? So the man is be young. Everything that kind of people, when they leave, they are sent to the ancestral world. So when these our early people are pouring libation, they are pouring libation to their ancestors in the ancestral world. And those places is not hell. It's a dedicated area for people who did good for family people, so they can go there and then intervene for them or intercede for them. So when they pay libation, actually, it pleases those souls in the ancestral world, not those souls that came back to this material world and because no. If truly they are upon elevation to the ancestors, those ancestors and the ancestral world, so they will be able to do something about it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daddy.
You're welcome.
Now we're going to have a vote of thanks, and that's going to be our organizer, Sister Rain.
Transformation. We did. Daddy. You're members in our name. Any Akuma Pro, any executive Fiaka, any so free. So say 3. Daddy, dear, can I see you? Also, I know to see. And I was to say the beer and would me a mona, Upana West Right. The Sunday as the dash from Consoma, Mr. will say, when we hear it and see any. It doesn't that bad. It's just way too much. Yamisha on Tonko, Auntie Annie. 51 for us, Auntie Annie, and net is on the walk. Auntie Annie Yamisha. Papa, why? Young Chama 1. What can I say? It was. Yeah, guys. Oh, here in the book. Yeah, our one and only secretary that's every morning. Okay, and Kalayense. Every announcement, you know, my Yamisha. And since someone who say that there might be Google, so I had the design, the colors near the idea. Yeah, brother, Mati. So much for Nepra, maybe be a moment. And you know, I asked the dance so now, yes, I want to say, would it find say time in only I don't know. There's a lot that went on, but we are here. And you know, your best friend, your papa, and then on will be a wedding in Kumama and Kuma Ede. I told him. It's your best friend say, when you ask who round more. Now, the key one, no. Sometimes no do that you also not review. And you know why you are not there, no. Put it down. Two could draw when you boss so now in time. No, I daddy. Now, Miss Mebisa, we daddy, now Miss Mebisa, what you can in our boom. He will answer you after so no. And no, I hear. Why, then is a few baby, no stand and come as a bar. Now, will be so I wanted to watch you to be strong. Why? I'm quite no more bonnet to, and I come over also so. No, yeah, no. I did when I'm a person maker, Miss Remo. Members, money. Transformation teachings now, Papa, no. Mama, you try your best, now you see. Say, yes, yeah, and near my pen once as no farm, or near my end that. Obi Bakasi, dear, may executive with Tino. I have access to him, Tino. No, most of the time, no. And someone kasana me the answer me, and trust me, it work. I'm a testimony to it. That's why I'm a person me name Moshe. Mon try na mumi ensuya. Na sometimes it's easy say me di near maybe so near the idea kumi and for near maybe, but you try. In fact, a boy. To mumi ensuya na mwaye me pamucho. Why? Any na ye twaso. I feel so no. Eduane no. Yeah, why? Daddy, baby, Ramona, Yeltanano, and the Mianin and I busy, come. You are watching, you will jollof, you will cake, you will be VIB. And Tinafina, mobile FIFA, who Bania, some of the Dinia, the Webber, no, I'm so spot and a very proud. Nti ne de bibia be si ha no say take away bowl no obi age say wo ka mu na apese odidi a baby abaya comfortable say your family na ye nyina ye dey ye ho nto ye ti me da mo ase nyame onka obi a why.
Thank you, organizer.
Yeah, on my way they can but say me person munina me name na papa we speaking from my heart. I want you to thank them for me. See, at times I know I believe somehow I'm a little bit selfless. You know, I try to serve people. But what they do is beyond imagination. See, driving all the way from Maryland to Chicago, coming back last week, and driving all the way from Maryland to Muhai, Papa, too busy. Enra, let's say if you tell 10, and a fan on Kuala or travel yard, and I don't know buy. And also that bears 2 hours speed. I don't buy a yard, I said 2 years travel all the way in Rasa. You people, like I said, I'm imagining never been through. So at times when it beats my imagination. Say, yeah, people can be selfless. But trust me, I mean their selflessness is just too much. And it's not because hey, Gianna is doing something very, very special for these people that nobody knows. They do this from their heart. And then, thank you, man. I'm very grateful. So my first meeting this is my 4th time coming to the state, and people remember the same thing they do. You know, so all that I can say is that if I've ever done anything to please God, may all your heart desires come to pass.
I'm saying, yes, I didn't hear the painting, I mean, this other painting. Now, I can't get transformation now. The new form of I said, a fire breakfast so 80 years, no assassination. The Dutchess who are saying, and once we live again. Now, I hear a friend say, I'm farmer. If you are paying, what will Cremoda, Salaka, Uncle Mr. Salaka, Cremofon, it's your farmer idea. And then someone about karma. A baby says, if you can, why are we to be to karma? I said, and no. So, but I tell you, what in my reaction was in my nature indebted to you. It was a baby near a year. I'm trying for the nature to be indebted to me. And beside that, she said, was woman, I'm preparing myself, said, 80 years in I said, nature to you will be successful. And this I used to and walk a dear when young and dear, my nature also, or your mamma, to be some me emphasized. I don't
All right, so we're going to start with the consultation. So before we do the consultation, there's going to be a group picture that we're going to take with Daddy today.